it's on to sprint zone number 1. Isla makes the signal, and we approach the stop sign, and everyone's feeling pretty good. It's a hot day, and I don't know if I showed this earlier. I guess I didn't. That I did a lot of work on the front, and I'm just kind of hoping to sit in for a while. It's a pretty good crew today. Longtime member Mark is there in the red and the blue, and the game is on. Passing Isla, coming up near the front. There's a good contingent of the Peloton guys here representing that defunct place of business. And now it's game on. I want to try to stay close to the front on this one because there seems to be a lot of lethargy, people just hanging out in the back, hoping to get a free ride. Even though there's like plenty of horsepower in the group, doesn't seem like a lot of people want to work today. And maybe it's because of the heat, or maybe they've just gotten used to the big men doing the work. And that would be Matthew, Michaels, Josh. Maybe I'll throw myself in there because I'm on the work, Brett, Greg, etc. But today we don't have all of the big men, so it's just going to be up to a few of us. So I'm kind of comfortable sitting in. I think Greg's at the front. I believe that might be Kent Winters. And maybe at the front, that's Rick Lutz. We got Ian there and Brett. And I'm slotting in to make the double pace line. Ian's coasting for a while, kind of hanging back. Not certain what that was about. Oh, probably the truck turning ahead. Good eyes. So it looks like everyone's in good formation. I think they're pretty happy with the pace. I'm checking my heart rate, 160, not too bad. So people aren't really pushing that hard just yet. I see kind of Rick looking around at the front, hoping somebody might take over. I'm thinking to myself, well, you got 3 Peloton guys here. Maybe they should be doing the work, but that's probably not going to be the case. So it looks like Ian kind of just sitting back, letting the big men come to the front, looking for a free ride. Brett hanging in there. And I, of course, want to stay close to the front because, well, this corner, there's a lot of people that don't take this corner with a lot of momentum, and it just burns extra matches trying to stay in there. So it looks like I think I'm behind Kent. Looks like that might be Rick up there, maybe Greg, somebody in a Peloton kit. Coming into this corner, not that hot, car up. Didn't lose too much ground there, and not using a whole lot of power, but things seem to be good. Not certain what's up with the heart rate on this one, because it's no way was my heart rate that high just yet. So maybe it's the heat giving off some weird EKG readings, or it's the equipment somewhere, but that's totally like not right. But I go to the front and I'm throwing a lot of wattage out, 270, 300, trying to make something happen here because it seemed like there was a lethargy in the group. No one really wanted to come to the front. So here I am, driving pretty hard and 241 beats per minute NFW, which I kind of wish I had my real heart rate. Well, maybe it's in the realm of possibility that it was actually that high. I'd like to not believe so because I wasn't feeling that bad. So I'm hanging out here for a while. Speed looks good. No one's really wanting to come around. And I'm pedaling and I'm pedaling and I'm pedaling. And by this time, normally people come around, which I'm not surprised that no one did because of the heat. But there's some big engines back there. I think JVP might be back there. Obviously, Brett's back there. Maybe Justin and Joel. I know Kent can throw down some wattage. But they're hanging back for whatever reason. So maybe it's just the heat. Because it was hot, like I said. So speed's going a little slow here. But my wattage is pretty good. And I assume that that's not malfunctioning because it's not attached. Thank goodness I get a little respite here. Peloton guys going to the front, so it looks like Greg and Rick. I was thinking about slotting in here because I don't like going all the way to the back because there's just too many people that are going to detach later on, and I don't want to be behind them. And I've noticed that there's many people that are good about this. So like when Ian's ready to pop, he'll pull out of the line like almost immediately so we don't have to like jump around him or look around and go, oh my gosh, there's like 6 bike lanes, and then you burn a ton of matches. But we'll see if that happens here. I'm not certain that it will. So I slide in behind Ian, not where I want to be. Well, he's a good draft, but I got a feeling that he's going to like drop off at some point, and I don't really want to have to sprint around him. But it was hot and I was a little bit tired. So normally at this point, I would have jumped around Ian and went up behind Joel to stay near the front. But it feels like I did a lot of work early or coming up Prospect and then on, not Prospect, but County Road 5 and then this one. So I'm like, let somebody else do some work. I'm getting what I want and I'm hopefully trying to recover. If you look at the heart rate, my relative heart rate, I think it's probably in the 160s now, and I'd like for it to come down. Wattage is still pretty high, but I'm pretty happy sitting in. So it's a pretty good group at this point. No one has made like any strong attacks where there's going to be any kind of selection made, and it's hot, and I'm not really feeling it. It looks like I'm trying to go around Ian here because he looked like he was falling back a little bit, and well, I didn't want to be back there. Not that I really want to be up here either, but looks like Joel did some work, and once again the Peloton guys go up. I'll slot in here. I think it's pretty good. So I think, what is it? Is that Rick up there doing some work? Yep. And then Greg takes over. Wattage is still pretty decent for like sitting in, like the 200s, maybe a 300 in there someplace. Greg working pretty hard. And I think Greg maybe got 40 miles in before this or 40 afterwards because he's doing a lot of miles these days. Not sure if he's training for anything, if he's just feeling good or what the deal is, but he seems more than happy to go out there and do some work. But Greg pretty much never really participates in the sprint so much. He's happy to do work, so I'm figuring he gets a good workout, and that's all he wants out of this one. And pretty much that's what I'm looking for too. So I think Greg's been out here like long enough, and I'm feeling a little bit guilty, even though I shouldn't be, about not going to the front. But this is a good way to do some over-unders and keep myself out of trouble, go to the front, and make sure I get a good workout. Speeds are good, wattage is pretty good. For some reason it thinks my heart rate's 166. Yeah, I'll buy that. That 200 stuff was crazy. Up now going back into the 180s. Yeah, something's not happening here. That's right with that, but yeah, it is what it is. I normally don't throw cadence up, but it looks like I've got cadence as telemetry here, 97, 98. Which, yeah, that's good for me. Thank goodness, JVP looks like he's come to the front finally. And then Kent's on his wheel. Now, when they go by, look at the wattage. 500 watts I had to throw in just to try to stay with that little move there. And not that I was gassed, but it takes a little bit of work. Now, I really wanted to slot in a little earlier because I don't want to really be behind a lot of the wheel suckers. And so I find myself, I'm like way back here. And I'm certainly going to be back behind people that are going to drop. I mean, out of politeness, I'm thinking that Ian should have probably just like let me in, because that would have been good, because he would have gotten a slight rest. And that's one of the tricks, let somebody in that's going to be there, and you can kind of let off for a little bit and help like get some recovery. So yep, so Ian pops. I really don't want to be back here, but I'm throwing on like 300 watts or so, just try to make contact with Brett here. So I make it on, and it looks like JVP might still be driving at the front. I'd much rather be a little higher up in the order here, but I've got no aspirations today because it's really hot. And if you notice, it's a pretty big selection, where normally it's been whittled down to 4 because there weren't a lot of big men like Matthew Michaels or Josh here to help make the selection. The wheel suckers are able to stay there. Maybe if JVP went to the front a little earlier or hit it a little harder with an actual attack. I know he wasn't actually attacking, but since I was on the front, it cost me a little bit to actually get up there and then keep contact. So it's a little bit of a grade. Don't know if anybody can see it, but we're getting near the end of the sprint. I think some people are going for it. I had to put a little surge to stay in here, 300, maybe 400 watts somewhere in here. I see Kent's out there looking good, still out in the wind. A slight gap opening up. I'm not quite certain why Kent stayed out there, but he looks like he's good. So at this point, I would normally like sprint and try to do something, but it's hot and I'm not feeling it. So my goal here is just to like sit in and keep reasonable contact with the group. I know somebody's going to punch it up here, but it's not going to be me. And since I can't see really what's going on, I think JVP's up there. I see a lot of people like, and I don't know what that is. Oh, is that Ilka coming back? It's like, yeah. I was wondering why she was pulling out a line. That was nice. See, that was the right thing to do. Pull out and don't let a big gap open up. So there must have been an acceleration here someplace, and we're over the top. And, you know, my contact, that's reasonable. Looks like there's Greg pulling off. Not certain who won that one. Maybe JVP. It was a good job. And time to recover.